Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here, and oh boy, Anub'arak is a gift that just keeps giving, because this is the army that Turtle used to defeat Onyxia. So this is the army that I used in my Anub'arak guide, and Turtle, who I've been doing Molten Core with, decided that it's time to see just how low it's possible to go, so he off-slotted his minis and did everything possible, and 21.6 average level is still enough to kill Onyxia. Now, some nuance has been discovered while pushing things this low that make it a little bit different than the fight that I showed in the guide. So there's Witch Doctor here, but Witch Doctor is only level 22, and you need level 24 Witch Doctor so the Witch Doctor can solo the eggs on the sides. So what Turtle is doing instead, Turtle sometimes uses the Quillbore to tank the eggs a little bit so that Witch Doctor gets a good start, and then Witch Doctor can go on from there. And sometimes Turtle just uses, especially the die battlings, sometimes the skeletons, so that dropping those on the whelps, and then the poison is going to finish the whelps off. So a little bit of creativity is needed in order to handle the whelps. Also, because Anub'arak's beetles inherit the level from the mini that they spawn from. So level 19 battling spawn level 19 beetles. Yeah, there's a level 27 Anub'arak here, but the beetles are not going to be level 27. So that causes its own issues, because the damage output is just so incredibly low. And that means that gold is going to be an issue, even with the Defiance Bandits. Without the Defiance Bandits, there would be no hope whatsoever. But even with the Defiance Bandits, then you need to trap your Anub'arak. And you can wedge your Anub'arak between a skeleton party and the base, so the Anub'arak cannot move. And when Anub'arak cannot move, Anub'arak cannot go off and get killed, and that means that you just skip it in your rotation, and that saves you some gold. Now, Anub'arak can actually move if it gets to burrow. So, and it has a huge aggro range. So if the Earth Elementals get somewhere close to your base, then Anub'arak is just going to burrow its way out of there. So you need to intercept the Earth Elementals earlier, so that you will be able to keep Anub'arak at your base. But with those caveats, other than that, it's pretty much the same story. You use your beetles to take the towers, you fight until overtime, and in overtime, then you just use poison, always keeping the poison stacks on Onyxia until Onyxia is going to die. And with all the minis this low, that means that these minis also die super easily, and that places some limitation also on how easily you can spam them and keep those poison stacks going, because your beetles are not going to survive for very long. But thanks to the very low-cost cycle nature of the deck, it can be done when properly played. So let's take a look at Turtle's kill of Onyxia with average level of 21.6 in action. So here we go, Turtle versus Onyxia, level 21.6 versus level 30. And at the start, Defiance Bandits are going to go and get some gold, because, that beautiful gold from the picklock. And there's even a gargoyle, but enough beetles are going to be able to kill the gargoyle. The die battlings and beetles, that's just so sweet. Even level 19, the poison just overwhelms them. Turtle is here using Anub'arak at the front line. If your Anub'arak would be somewhat lower and maybe other minis a couple of levels higher, then you would probably want to put the Anub'arak a little bit in the back, more so that the other minis would tank for Anub'arak, and Anub'arak wouldn't die so easily there at the start. But you do what you have to do here. There, Turtle tanks with the Quillbore, so that the Witch Doctor gets to kill the enemies, because Witch Doctor 22 otherwise would die to the whelps. Witch Doctor wouldn't need to be level 24 to survive the whelps alone. And on the other side, Turtle is placing some of the unbounds there to get some poison on the whelps. The whelps are taking quite a bit of damage, so the base can just kill them each with one hit. Base still took a fair bit of damage, but at the moment the most dangerous part of the fight is already over, because the first tower is not under enemy control. The enemy cannot place minis at the first tower. Soon the first tower is going to be conquered by Turtle, and once the first tower has been conquered, then the fight for the other towers can begin, and then other towers can be taken before overtime and full map control can be established. The lower your levels, the longer it takes you to establish map control. But here, as the fight for the towers goes on, then Turtle will slowly start to also build up the team of Rime Skeletons to protect the base. There, the Rime Skeletons were actually a little bit detrimental, because they prevented the bandits from getting more gold. And now Rime Skeletons next to the tower, Anub'arak is now stuck behind those Rime Skeletons. So that Anub'arak is going to stay there, and it's going to give you the beetles for the rest of the game pretty much. It will burrow its way out once something gets close enough to its aggro range, something ground-based. It doesn't attack air units, of course. But Turtle is going to try to prevent that as long as possible, so that the Anub'arak would just stay behind and allow cycling all the other units in order to really get that damage dealing going on. The Gargoyle managed to take a tower, but that's fine. As long as the tower does not come back up, then it's going to be all good. Then Dire Batlings on the left, fighting against the Whelplings, and as you can see, they are poisoning all of them, and not much is going to remain. So even if the Witch Doctor is a little bit lower level, then you can overcome that, but you have to spend more gold in order to do that. And that's why also then getting the Anub'arak stuck is going to be important. Fighting for the chest, not very successfully though. Well, 11 level difference means that the DPS of these minis is just very, very low compared to the enemy, but overwhelming the enemy with so much poison that can still do things. Turtle has already secured 2 towers, there's only 1 tower remaining. There's still almost 3 minutes until overtime, so there's plenty of time, and now Turtle, as you can see, is starting to build up also that Rime Skeleton defense team. That is going to keep the base safe and secure until such time that Onyxia is going to fall. And there again, Dire Batlings, dropping them on top of the Whelplings, and then getting all of that poison in, and just the damage there. And on the other side, skeletons, and beetles, and poison, and that's going to help handle. Much more expensive than just dropping the Witch Doctor, but when the Witch Doctor is below level 24, then that becomes important. Trying to fight for the towers. Billboard destruction for the Witch Doctor to survive. So all sorts of additional gold has to be spent when your minis are lower level, but thanks to getting Anub'arak stuck behind the base, then that just becomes more affordable, and it is possible to do. 1 minute 44 seconds remaining, so overtime slowly approaches. It's good to have all the towers before the overtime, because that means that you can also send Dire Batlings at Onyxia. On the first phase change, Onyxia is going to take the top towers, so you will not be able to use Batlings at Onyxia anymore. They will not get through, you're stuck with just the Unbound. But if you can at the start get some battling power there as well, then that is going to help, because you will get more poison in that way before you're in a full Unbound cycle mode. 1 minute 10 seconds remaining. Turtle is just cycling now. There's not much pressure from Onyxia, but Turtle needs to get more Rime Skeletons in place. There's still... the sides are not very well protected so far. The mid is quite done. Now the left side is pretty much done. Right side still needs a little bit more defenses. And then the defense line is going to be ready. Still 45 seconds remaining before overtime, so before the actual attack should begin. So there should be plenty of time. A little bit of fight for the tower, but that's okay, as long as the tower is not controlled by Onyxia at least. A little bit more Rime Skeletons, 25 seconds. Going to get a lot of gold soon from those bandits, and here's that gold. There's a Drake, but the Drake was countered, and now 40 seconds remaining. Dire Batlings start their journey towards Onyxia. The defense line is ready. The defenses are here. All the Rime Skeletons that are needed are here, and assault on Onyxia begins. Overtime begins. Dire Batlings were already there. More Dire Batlings are coming in. Now it's just crucial to not let the poison stacks fall off. Whatever it takes to refresh the poison stacks, so that the poison stacks will never fall off and Onyxia will take increasing damage until the end. Okay, poison stacks. Also need to remember to handle the whelps that are going to spawn at some point. Turtle is checking for those. There are the whelps. Dire Batlings, Witch Doctor, handling some of the whelps, and poison stacks are being kept. Poison stacks are being maintained. It's looking good. There's more Batlings going. Every Unbound that can apply poison is being sent to Onyxia on one side, then another, on one side, then another. A little bit of cycling near the bottom, some Batlings to help out the defense, and more Unbounds with poison stacks on Onyxia. There doesn't even have to be that many new poison stacks. Poison lasts for 5 seconds. It's just important that either a beetle is going to hit Onyxia every 5 seconds, or there's going to be Quillbore with the explosion and positioned early enough so that the explosion, the bramble burst, has time to proc. Now there's nothing putting more poison on it, but now there is again with the Unbound, and now there isn't, and that'll wait a little bit there. That's 5 seconds, 5 seconds of grace period. So sometimes you can wait a little bit as long as you don't let the poison stacks fall off. Actually, if you're a little bit higher level, you can even let them fall off and just rebuild them, but at this level you really can't afford that anymore. And poison stacks, Unbounds, and Onyxia goes down against the level 21.6 army. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.